Guys, we did it. It's a beautiful day today because we hit 300,000 subscribers. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm so grateful. Thank you for the support. We're celebrating today by reading some more Reddit stories. But yeah, thank you for watching the videos and the shorts, everybody. I'm having a lot of fun making the content that I make, and I'm so happy that you guys enjoy watching it. So yeah, thank you, everybody. The first one that we're going to read is called, Am I the a-hole for telling my parents they aren't really my parents? So, my 20 male parents weren't really present. My grandparents stayed with us and took care of me until I started daycare. But after a few incidents where the teacher was targeting me for no reason, they withdrew me. My parents said that daycare seems too expensive. I was better off at home and refused to pay. My grandparents continued raising me, and then I started school. They came over every morning and afternoon, basically whenever I was home. At that point, it felt like they should just move in with us. But my parents didn't want them to, since they'd have to pay for 2 more people living with us. And they also didn't want them nagging all the time. I remember always asking my grandma why I never see my parents, and they'd try to change the topic. Well, I spoke to her recently, and after a lot of pressing and convincing, she admitted that my parents didn't want me or my brother upon their own admission not long after we were born. And to top it off, as it turns out, my parents just stayed at work late every day so they wouldn't have to deal with me and my twin in general. They recently posted a picture of us saying spending time with family is the best gift they've ever received. I never paid much attention, but it turns out they've been posting mine and my brother's pictures for occasions like Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthdays. I spent the weekend making cute stuff out of wood with my grandparents, so I posted a few pictures of those and added a caption saying it was great to finally have a free weekend to spend with my parents. They called me up asking me what I meant by that post, and I told them that I meant what I typed out. I see my grandparents as my real parents. They're the ones who've been there for me. My grandma made our lunch and got us ready every day. My grandpa dropped us off everywhere, school or competitions, you name it. They were the ones who listened to all of my problems and gave me advice and consoled me or fought for me. They guided us through life, not my parents who gave birth to me and then left it at that. My mother started crying and my father said that it's unfair of me to punish them for making their career a priority and taking breaks since balancing career and parenting is stressful. I told them they didn't balance anything. They just pawned us off to our grandparents. They're now blowing up our phones and demanding apologies. So, am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Yeah, like this comment says, your parents reaped the seeds they sowed. It's ridiculous for them to think otherwise. They should be thanking your grandparents and begging for forgiveness for their actions, not the a-hole. Yeah, but they've got the audacity to demand you for apologies. That's so wild. Yeah, this comment too, not the a-hole. You spoke the truth. Yeah, all you did was point out what happened. You haven't actually done anything, OP. And the grandma even told OP that OP's parents didn't want them. She admitted that my parents didn't want me or my brother upon their own admission not long after we were born. Like, hey parents, what do you expect? Like, oh, we're gonna say that we didn't even want our children and we're gonna give them to our parents whenever we can and be completely vacant parents, but then get upset at our children. Hey, you shouldn't be upset at OP. OP should be upset at you. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, it's how you feel. Your grandparents took wonderful care of you and you appreciate it. Your parents, not so much. Yeah, and it is what it is. You're not making stuff up here, OP. You're telling your parents what they did. You didn't imagine this. They were vacant parents. The top comment says, unpopular opinion. Sometimes the family that you choose is more important than the family that you're born into. Your grandparents chose you every single day. That's real love. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I don't feel like that's an unpopular opinion. I feel like that's a pretty popular opinion. That's true. Your grandparents are more family to you than your actual parents because they were the ones who were there for you and they were the ones who loved you, OP. Not saying that your parents don't love you, but your grandparents actually showed it every day. They were the committed parents, not your actual parents. No, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. And I don't feel like you or your brother should be apologizing to your parents. Your parents need to apologize to you and your brother. Also, as I'm sure you're aware, the videos have been a little bit longer. I sneakily made the last episode 30 minutes. And of course, you can see how long today's episode is. I don't know, guys. I feel like the videos weren't long enough. The compilations have always performed really well on the channel, and I always get a lot of comments saying that people really like the long episodes. But I also don't really want to do a lot of compilations anymore because, you know, I want to make fresh new content every day, or as much as I can. So yeah, there's probably going to be more stories and more fun stuff. Post number 2 says, am I overreacting? My husband suspects me of cheating. No evidence and he still won't believe me. Married to my one and only husband and sexual partner for decades. He accused me of cheating with a co-worker that's so young that I could actually be the mother of. Husband put a listening device in my car, made me quit my job. I took 3 polygraph tests and passed everyone with flying colors. He had me followed with no infractions on my part. Had the audio recordings analyzed and there's no evidence of anybody in my car but me. He went through my phone every day and no inappropriate messages were ever sent or received. Why the hell won't he believe me? Oh my god, what did we just read? He put a listening device in your car. He made you quit your job. Took 3 different polygraph tests, which are like lying tests, aren't they? Had me followed. Had the audio recordings analyzed in your car. And no evidence of anybody in the car but you. And then went through your phone every day. What did we just read? Edit or update per request. We recently divorced. He still says subtle stuff indicating that he can move forward if he gets a confession from me. I brought up him getting help from a therapist and he raged and said that he did nothing wrong. This is what men do. It's their right. He plays the martyr and the pitiful victim to his friends. Mind you, these are friends that we do not have mutually in common. New friends. We, my kids and I, are trying to wade through the crap that he left. I put this out here to say why the hell would he do all of this and blow up the marriage. Y'all have been very helpful and confirming suspicions that we all have had. Right, so do you mean that you got divorced after you said the first bit? Like before the update? I don't think I've ever read so much compact into so little text. So much just happened. Oh my god. He said this is what men do. It's their right. It's your right as a man to put a listening device in your partner's car, and it's your right to make your partner quit their job because you think they're cheating for whatever reason. OP, that's terrifying. This comment says, forget about overreacting for a minute. That's the last thing that you should be worried about right now. A listening device made you quit your job, made you take a polygraph test 3 times, had you followed, went through your phone. I ain't one for drama, but it sounds like the beginning of a true crime story. I'm a man, by the way. OP said, thank you. I did want men to comment their thoughts, as he's under the impression that all women are liars and cheaters. Whoa. We are divorced. I'm trying to understand the whole crap show. He thinks that all women are liars and cheaters. That's so messed up and so terrifying. This comment says he's cheating on you. The comment below that says the guilty always blames the other. OP, you need to get as far away from this person as you can. Like, this one is one of the most wild things I feel like we've read. This comment says, I hate to break it to you, OP. This relationship is so far gone from the ability to establish mutual trust. Your husband's behavior is deeply concerning. I understand how difficult parting ways after decades may be, but I fear this is the only outcome for you. What you're describing is volatile and insane. You've essentially been stalked, had your privacy violated, left your source of income and way to establish yourself without him. Get out ASAP. Yeah, and like the comment below that says, also, he's probably cheating. Yeah, you're not safe if you're in a situation like this. And volatile is a really good way of putting it. And also, what's this scary sort of incel attitude that he's got? Thinks that all women are liars and cheaters. Bro, this is not normal behavior. And just because you've got this terrible attitude towards women, that does not give you the right to do all of this to your partner. Oh, the audacity of this guy. And he even said this is what men do. It's their right. No, it's not. I am shocked and appalled. I want to keep talking about this because it's so wild, but I feel like we need to move on. But yeah, good luck, OP. The next one says, am I the a-hole for telling my mum that I don't care if my kids never know my sister's kids, and I'm not going to take responsibility to teach my sister's kids better? I, 31 male, was never very close to my sister, 33 female. We got along okay as kids, but the older that we got, the more different we became, and the more strain there was in our relationship. She married young at 18 and has many kids now. I got married 5 years ago, and my wife and I have 2 children together. My sister is a stay-at-home mum and a trad wife and submissive wife to her husband. She believes that men need to be providers and women should stay at home without exception, and she looks down on me for being a stay-at-home dad. She actually started mocking me when I married my wife. My wife makes more money than I did when I was working. She was always the breadwinner. I still worked hard and I brought money in, but she was a higher earner. And my sister told me that I wanted a husband and not a wife with the way that I was acting. When she heard I was going to be a stay-at-home parent, she expressed that she felt that it was wrong. I ignored her and I deceased our contact significantly. Yeah, see, that's the problem. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't tell everybody else how they need to live. Like, the sister and their partner can live the way they want to live, but the sister shouldn't be putting you down, OP, and telling you what you should do. That's not okay. Now, however, my sister's looking to take advantage of me being at home with my kids, and she wants me to take her kids sometimes. I said no, and I told her she doesn't get to treat me like crap and then expect favors out of me. She tried to dangle a relationship with her kids, something I've never really even had over my head. She told her mum, and now the mum's involved. And let me guess, the mum wants you to do it to keep the peace? She asked me why I wouldn't want to spend time with my sister's kids. And when she realized that I knew that was what I was passing up, she mentioned my kids knowing they're only cousins, and then suggested that I could be a positive influence on my sister's kids so that they grow up to be less judgmental. And then she said it'd be better for all the kids, hers and mine. I told my mum I don't care if my kids never know my sister's kids. I said actually it'd be for the best with how my sister and her husband think and act. I said their kids could be talking like their parents are around my kids, and unless I'm with them 24/7, I wouldn't know or be able to correct it. And I also said that I'm not taking on the responsibility of teaching them better than their parents are. I said if anything, that could end with more insults aimed at my wife and me. I said my sister would lose her mind about boys playing with dolls or playing house or dress up, and we have all that here. And also, I'm not exposing my family to that negativity. My mum told me that it's very disappointing that I don't care about my own nieces and nephews. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, the top comment. She's a trad wife, stay-at-home mum. She's supposed to be taking care of her kids, not the a-hole. Yeah, and this one says, it's disappointing that your mum doesn't care about you and your family, and only your sister and hers. The one below that says, maybe mum was hoping OP would teach his sister's kids better, but that still doesn't mean OP should do it. Yeah, that's so bad. The sister is being a judgmental a-hole. Like, you can live however you want to live. I'm a firm believer that every couple should do what's best for them, and every couple should do what makes them happy. But the main caveat of that is that you don't get to tell everybody else how they should live their life. That's not fair. Like, if the sister had some respect here, maybe it'd be fine. But no, the sister's judgmental, and they're making fun of OP, literally mocking OP when they married their wife. And yeah, you're completely right, OP. Your sister doesn't get to be an a-hole to you, and then try to get you to do favors for her. This comment says, if she's a trad wife, why does she need more time without her kids? OP said, that's something that I've wondered too. Clearly she's not as happy doing it all herself now, but that's what she always says a woman's role is. No working like my wife or having men with the children. Yeah, like, hey, you were mocking me about this, and now you want me to look after your kids. I thought I wasn't meant to be a stay-at-home dad. I thought I wasn't meant to be here looking after kids. But now you want me to look after your kids after you've been an a-hole to me? No, you're not the a-hole even a little bit, OP. The sister's like, oh no, I kinda shot myself in the foot there. I probably shouldn't have been making fun of my brother so much. And then maybe he would do stuff for me. Like, that is actually kinda laughable. Like, oh, I insulted you so much. Now I want you to help me out. What do you mean you don't want to? What do you mean actions have consequences? The next one that we're gonna read says, am I overreacting? I just got this text from my boyfriend. I know I usually hint at being respectful because I don't want to make a big deal about it when my friends are at the house, but sometimes you leave dishes in the sink and don't clean up the food that you made. You need to really get your act together before I find somebody else who can. Wow, the audacity. Hold on a second. There's some context. For context, my female 20, boyfriend male 21, live together and work full-time and split rent 50-50. I cook all the meals and I clean the house even after my graveyard shift. All he does is work, come home to play games, and occasionally invites friends over. Oh God, my blood pressure is rising. We've been together for 5 years and he's been acting this way for the last 3 months. And when I tell him how it's making me feel, he tells me that I'm wrong and overreacting. So basically, I'm asking, am I overreacting? I know I'm sitting down, but I feel like I need to hang on to something so I don't fall over. I am astonished. This dude has the most audacity I feel like I've ever seen. You don't do anything. You come home, you play games, and you invite your friends over while your girlfriend cooks you all the meals, and you dare to speak to them like this. I'm going to read some comments because I feel like I need to get my heart rate down a little bit. This is a very unhealthy communication and wildly entitled for somebody who does the bare minimum to contribute to the household with half of the finances. Please leave this miserable This comment says, if this is the way he normally speaks to you, I'd move the hell on right now. This one says, I'd 100% leave this person for that last line alone, in any context. If my girlfriend ever ushered the words, before I find somebody else who can, it'd be over at that very moment. You can't let somebody disrespect you like this in any capacity, especially somebody that you're in a relationship with. I'm actually in disbelief. How terrible can you be? OP, how did you not lose your mind at that response? Did you respond? That's so revolting. I can't even understand the audacity. Like the goal of this guy. Like, oh yeah, we split everything 50-50. I don't even cook any of the meals. I just work and come home and play video games with my friends. And you dare to talk to your partner like this. OP, they're gonna get a rude shock in their life. Like the entitlement in that message. You really need to get your act together before I find somebody else who can. Who do you think you are? How do you feel like you can even say that to somebody? Like, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Vincey, who doesn't contribute barely bloody anything. I didn't realize that you were a king amongst men. Yeah, that one is so infuriating that we need to move on. I don't even want to think about this post anymore. Like, OP, it's not okay for him to talk to you like this. Ever. This is not okay, and you can do better. Probably pretty easily too. And I'm sure even he could read this back and be like, oh, well, yeah, that is pretty bloody rude. This is awful behavior. Okay, the next one is on entitled people. Ex so entitled she thinks that I should be paying bills for her, and also the guy that she cheated with. Okay, so that's one hell of a title. I found out that my girlfriend of 11 years was cheating on me with an unemployed dude. I'm not rich, but I provided her a good lifestyle. I paid for most of her bills and provided a nice place, nails and hair done regularly, and dates every weekend, couple of vacations a year, and she got used to that lifestyle and wanted to keep living it despite cheating with a broke dude. She didn't admit to the cheating. I caught onto it. Once it was obvious that I was done with her, the entitlement really started to show. She said because I had family in the area and she didn't, I should move out but continue paying the bills to give her and the new guy a chance to get on their feet. Oh god. She also insisted on keeping my dogs. Told me that I could only see my own dogs if I asked the new guy. Oh, this is so infuriating. But since they didn't have any money, I needed to continue paying for food and vet bills. Instead, I kicked her out and I kept my dogs. At that point, she was angry. Yeah, I'm sure she was. And still felt entitled to my income. After I kicked her out of my place, she claimed that she was forced to quit her job because I forced her to relocate. And then she tried to sue me for lost wages, which didn't work out in her favor. You'd think that she'd stop at this point, but she didn't. She contacted my work and threatened to sue them, stating your employee's actions cost me everything, and tried to insist that they settle outside of court with her for $100 grand. She didn't make that much money. Instead, my work filed harassment charges against her. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure cheaters aren't even capable of taking responsibility. Like, hey, none of this is OP's fault. Maybe don't cheat on them. Oh, it's insufferable. You'd think she'd stop at that point, but she didn't. She started to message every family member of mine that she could find. Told them I cost her everything out of spite just because she moved on with somebody else. You cheated on OP. You didn't move on. And that the least they could do is send her money to help her get a place and pay rent. Is this the most delusional, entitled person that's ever lived? When that didn't work, she went online and begged people to send her money or to cash app her to help her with a place to live, and then claimed it was a domestic violence situation. Oh, she's absolutely awful. I don't understand how she doesn't understand that any financial support I gave her would end if she cheated on me. We weren't married. We don't have kids. I've supported her for years and I owe her nothing. I really don't owe it to her to help her and her new relationship get on their feet and establish themselves, which does seem to come as a shock to her. Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. I thought the goal of the guy in the last one was wild. But then there's this person. Somebody provides a really good life for you. You go and cheat on that person, and you have the goal to think that because you cheated on that person, somehow they should keep giving you money and they should keep being kind to you after you cheated on them. Do you have a brain in your head? Oh my god, there's a comment that says keep records and recordings of everything. I would not be surprised if she started trying to get the law involved by making abuse allegations. And OP said, you're right, she did try it. She posted pictures of herself in the hospital and claimed that I attacked her. Holy. Luckily, I've got Ring cameras that showed me at home all day on the day that she claimed that I attacked her. She didn't even call law enforcement, just posted it for sympathy, and then included the hospital pictures in her messages to my family when she was asking them for money. Yeah, so they're completely unhinged. They're not just entitled. That is out of control. We read stuff all the time and I'm like, oh, surely people can't be this bad. And then they get even worse. Oh, I can't believe you're punishing me for moving on. Moving on isn't cheating on your partner. And there's absolutely no accountability for their actions. And then the entitlement. And then the asking the family members for money. Not just OP, but the family members. And then posting stuff on social media making it out like OP hurt them. This comment says, it's not that she's entitled, she's delusional. Yeah, and the comment under that, that's not entitled, that's deranged. Yeah, it genuinely is. And yeah, it's not just entitlement, it's also delusional. That is absolutely terrible. Yeah, I betrayed you and I cheated on you, but you should keep giving me money because I deserve it for some reason that I've made up in my head. And not just that, asking the family members for money. And also trying to get OP to move out and trying to keep OP's dogs. What the Like, oh no, terrible actions have terrible consequences. No. You mean I can't be a terrible person and get away with it? Oh no. Absolute tantrum that they had when they didn't get what they want. And the social media stuff trying to make it out like OP hurt them is so messed up. This comment says, it was a fun and amusing story until she claimed domestic violence. You need to sue her for slander or defamation, even if only asking a token judgment of $1 to shut that stuff down. OP said she claimed domestic violence against her ex before me too, and I'm starting to wonder if it's a pattern with her. It absolutely disgusts me because I grew up seeing my mum be a genuine victim of it. People like her are why it can be so difficult for people like my mum to get help and support. I've definitely considered a slander suit. I'm in the process of getting my license in mental health counseling, and I could see her trying to lose me my license if I don't take some measures to protect myself. I just don't understand how this is a real person. Like, you know, in the Lord of the Rings where Treebeard is like, there is no word to even describe this treachery.
There is no curse in Elvish, Entish, or the tongues of men for this treachery.
That's how I feel about this person. I don't even know what to say. Like, nothing I say can really sum up how bad this is. Okay, the next one's called Today I Messed Up by Buying My Man an Xbox. He's been playing Fallout 4 all night for nearly a week. My partner's a hardworking, wonderful family man. He came from the Philippines and has grinded to make a home for him, his son, and me. He never spends money on himself, so I decided to take the plunge and buy him an Xbox. He had bought his son PlayStations before, and apparently he had played them, but finding time was difficult for him, and he's very respectful in not taking over his son's stuff. So, for as long as I've known him, he's only ever played pool on his phone for half an hour or so before bed to unwind. But I had an inkling that he might like a proper platform, and this Xbox was going for an amazing price. So, we booked a week off for an early birthday break, and I gave him the Xbox. Needless to say, he's played non-stop for days, for entire nights even. He absolutely flippin' loves it. But I'm kicking myself because he's addicted to Fallout 4. If I'd been just a bit braver, I could have bought him a PC instead, and we could have played Fallout 76 together. If only I'd known that he'd love these kind of games, but now I've made him a console gamer. And the TLDR says my partner loves his Xbox, and it makes him so happy. But I wish I'd bought him a PC instead so we could play together. Rest in peace, PC Master Race, but he deserves to be happy. That is so beautiful. Oh, that's so cute. I'm so happy that we read something that wasn't terrifying. Thank you, OP. I appreciate it. Yeah, the top comment at the start of the post, I thought you might moan at him, but you only wanted to join the fun. You're a great partner. Yeah, you are a great partner, OP, and it's so nice to read about a great partner after reading about all these terrible partners. Terrible, awful, embarrassingly bad partners. Like, I feel like we've read about the worst partners of all time today. But then it's so nice to read about somebody who's actually a good partner and a good person. I could cry a tear of joy. This is amazing. For the next one, we're heading back to Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for inviting my younger sister's friends to Thanksgiving, but telling my brother that his girlfriend could not step a foot into my house? I, 25 female, have custody and raise my 17-year-old sister because our mum passed away in December of last year. So this year is our first Thanksgiving without our mum, and because of that, my siblings, 22 male, 19 female, and 17 female, have all decided that it'll be easier for us to have a small Thanksgiving with just us and my husband than having to be around my mum's family because they're just terrible people. I was fully prepared to make Thanksgiving dinner for just the 5 of us when my younger sister came to me asking if her best friend, who we'll call Katie, and her little sister Lucy could have Thanksgiving dinner with us. Katie and my sister have been best friends for about a year and a half now, and I know a bit of Katie's and Lucy's story. I know their home life is anything but good, and my sister explained to me why she wanted them to come over. And I won't get into that here, but I'll just say that no kid should ever have to deal with a parent who suffers from substance abuse. I told my sister that I'd talk to everybody about it and see how everybody feels about it, so I did that. My sister and I sat everybody down, explained the situation, and everybody was okay about it. I was able to get written permission from the family that Katie and Lucy were staying with, not their relatives, a friend of Lucy's family, and they don't treat those girls as their own really. And that was all there was to it, or so I thought. My brother then comes to me and says, since Katie and Lucy are having Thanksgiving with us, can I invite my girlfriend Sarah? Sarah and my brother have only been dating for a month, but I gave him the same grace I gave our sister, and I told him that I'd ask if it was okay with everybody. As soon as I asked my 19-year-old sister, she immediately shut the idea down and said, why would he ask to invite her after what she said to him about mum? That threw me for a loop, and I asked her to explain. explain. My sister then goes on to tell me that she and him got into an argument a couple of days ago because Sarah wanted my brother to go away with her and her family to a different city on December 14th to 16th. December 14th is our mum's death anniversary, and we're planning to spread her ashes. So my brother told her why we wouldn't be able to go on the 14th, but that he could travel there the morning of the 15th. And Sarah said, I don't care that you're throwing your mum's ashes. You're gonna embarrass me in front of my family if you let me go up there alone. Is this another terrible partner? Immediately I became enraged, but instead of acting out, I confronted my brother and he told me that she did in fact say that, but didn't mean it in a mean way. Oh yeah. Dude, don't be blind to this person. There's no way to mean that in a nice way. So I told him, I don't care how she meant it. If you bring her into my house, I'll cause a problem. Now my brother's upset and has his girlfriend texting me and apologizing, but I don't know if I care to hear it. I know that I could be very well blinded by the grief of my mum, so that's why I'm asking. Am I the a-hole? No, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. I understand giving her a second chance, even if she doesn't deserve it, but it's way too soon to include her in a holiday at your home. If she's actually sorry about what she said, she should understand that. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Like if the girlfriend actually does feel bad, this is where you're going to be able to tell if they actually mean it, OP. If they cause a whole bunch of issues because you're not going to let them come over, then yeah, they obviously don't actually feel bad, do they? No, you're doing the right thing by being very careful here, OP. I definitely wouldn't let them in my house either after what they said. Like that's a super cruel thing to say. I'm pretty sure your brother is being blind to this, OP, saying how she didn't mean it in a mean way. Then how did she mean it, dude? Like it's an awfully cruel thing to say. But yeah, you're going to find out if she actually is sorry or not. But no, you are so not the a-hole. I feel like saying stuff like that is completely inexcusable. Moving on, the next one says, am I the a-hole for considering a divorce from my wife after telling her that it feels like she'd prefer to be a single mum? My wife, 33 female, and I, 30 male, have had some issues in our marriage, and I have reached the point of feeling like enough is enough. We've been married for 7 years and our son is 3 years old. When my wife learnt that she was pregnant, she decided to wait to tell me so that she could surprise me. By the time she told me, she'd already told her friends and family. Her family took me, finding out after everybody else as her being afraid to tell me, and called me on it. She did not defend me, but claims that she did when I was out of the room. Later in her pregnancy, when we talked about baby names, she mentioned that she no longer wanted to use the original name that we'd agreed upon because her sister didn't like the name. What? She had told me that we were not discussing names with anybody, so I asked why she told her sister, and she said that she wanted some opinions. I told her we liked it, and then I asked her if she didn't like it anymore, and she said that she still did, but she wanted her sister to like the name. Then she said that her sister's opinion was too important, and I asked her if her sister's opinion was more important than mine. She said no, but then she tried to push for a name that her sister loved that my wife knew that I hated. It left me feeling less important again. Yeah, of course it did, OP. Oh, that sucks. I know she's the one carrying our son. She's the one going through all the changes in her body, but it made me sad that not only did she tell her friends and family she was pregnant first, but then she wanted her sister's opinion more than mine. When our son was 18 months old, he was taken to hospital. My wife was home with him and I was working from the office that day. My wife called her family before she called me, and when I got to the hospital, her parents were pissed at me for not being there sooner. And then they said that I'm clearly very uninvolved when my wife called them first. It's not your fault that she's not telling you first. I admit I was more angry at this time than sad, and I told my wife that she called 8 other people before me. Our son's father. We talked about it, but our son was the focus. My wife and I decided before that we wouldn't sign our son up for football unless he does ask us to, and he was older and it was safe. We both agreed that the injury sustained in football is a concern, or the brain injuries. It was something that we were both on the same page about. But a couple of weeks ago, she told me that she'd put his name down to start in another year. She did this without saying anything because her parents believe it's important that boys play football. Oh God, does she respect you at all? This brought the hospital incident back more than anything. And I told her it feels like she'd prefer to be a single mum since it seems so easy to cut me out or dismiss my opinion. She told me that I was being unfair. No, you're not. And she said that I sounded ready to divorce her, which was crazy. I didn't deny it. And she told me that I can't ruin our family over small disagreements. I reminded her that she called 8 people when our son was taken to the hospital before me. Am I the a-hole? No. Like this comment says, not the a-hole. She values her family's opinion over your own. Sounds like she'd have a good support system as a single mum. Ironically, that may give you more say in your son's life when he's with you during your weekends post-divorce. And the one below that, exactly. She obviously doesn't value your opinion as a father. And that's definitely not how parenting works. Not the a-hole. Yeah, she sucks here, OP, and she doesn't even realize it. Yeah, like this comment says, these are not small disagreements. These are big decisions, and she's absolutely in the wrong for cutting you out. She's treating you like a sperm sperm donor. Yeah, I actually feel like you should show her this OP. I feel like this is one of those situations where somebody is being so unfair, but they feel like they're still completely in the right somehow. And I feel like she needs to realize that she is in the wrong. None of this is okay, OP. Yeah, she is acting like a single mum. She's acting like you don't exist. That is so unbelievably sad and so not okay. But then also you're getting blamed for it. That's unbelievable. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. I'm pretty stuck on the fact that she called 8 people before you when your son was in the hospital. Yeah, I've been trying to wrap my head around that too, and I can't. That doesn't even make any sense. What, you're gonna call 8 people before you even tell their dad? And it's so annoying because she doesn't even realize it. Yeah, I feel like we need to move on. Today I messed up by giving my boyfriend a back rub in the dark. This is a small today I messed up, but a mess up nonetheless. I'm in a situationship with my on-again, off-again boyfriend. This time around we decided to take things slow and be friends. As it turns out, we're best friends and we get along great. Yesterday after work he came by to take care of me because I wasn't feeling well. He made me dinner and we laid in bed watching TV. I finally started to feel better and I asked if he wanted a back rub as a reward for doting on me for the last few days. He enthusiastically agreed. I just treated myself to new lotion from Bath & Body Works, so I grabbed the bottles and I had him smell them to pick his favorite. It was dark, the only light was coming from the TV. I slathered him with the lotion thick because it smelled so good, gave him an amazing back rub and we both fell asleep. This morning at 6 a.m. he woke up realizing that he fell asleep at my place and he was late for work. Not wanting to wake me up, he put on his clothes in the dark and left. A side note is he's a foreman for a large tree company. He works with a bunch of dudes and they're all manly and they tease each other endlessly. When I finally woke up, I was confused because it looked like my hands were covered in gold sparkly paint. I finally figured out that for some reason the lotion had thick gold glitter in it. I texted him to alert him that he was covered in very noticeable glitter, but it was too late. The boys had already noticed. It's 2 hours into his workday and the teasing has only just begun. He messaged me back that this probably makes us official, as the crew will never let him live this down, and I've officially marked my territory. That is so funny. Yeah, like this comment says, they're teasing him, but they're also wishing that they got slippery back rubs in the dark. That is so funny and so cute, and we definitely have to end the episode there. That was so refreshing to read after what we've read today. And yeah, I feel like I need to take a nap after what we've read today. I do have a cute wholesome meme to show you before you go. My mum doesn't have social media and she just got out this notepad and told me that she wrote down a tweet. My hair is 75% of my personality. That's so cute. Like, hey look, I did a tweet. That's so funny. I love wholesome parent memes like this one. Like, did I do it right? I don't think I did it right. Is this a tweet? That's so beautiful. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time today and I hope you're okay after what we've read today. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day goes to Vina Waldron. I can't stand the just a kid excuse for poor parenting. Just a kid will be just an adult acting the same way one day, wreaking chaos because they can't understand boundaries. Yeah, that's so true. And thank you for mentioning that in the comments. I feel like I need to mention that more when we read stuff like this. Like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. They're just a kid. But yeah, like you said, they're going to grow up and not understand boundaries, which is not only bad and insufferable, but it's dangerous. Yeah, thank you for commenting that. That's so true. We read some wild stuff, don't we? Let's do it again tomorrow, everybody. Thank you for the support and make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!